All right, we are in section 4 now, or at least you are, and should be well into the term. Hopefully, acclimated, staying current with not just this class, but your other classes, and hopefully gaining some insight into your own personal nutrition. So, section 4, this is going to be chapters 12 through 14. I'm going to talk about disease risk mainly. This is a very important chapter because a lot of things are out of our control, like genetics. Okay, I always hear you can't choose your parents, and that's so we need to know what are we at risk for. Okay, for example, in my family, high blood pressure runs in the family, so that's a risk that I'm at. Okay, so that's kind of going to be the thing. There's one big assignment in this, which I'll talk about in a minute, but again, we have a quiz and discussion board. The discussion board is just on disease risk. It kind of aligns with the self-survey that you'll do. There's 2 of them out of your book, okay? And I also supplied the self-surveys into the content in case you want to use mine to print off. Totally fine. Okay, the biggest sum I want to talk about. The biggest point allotment in the term is a current health topic, okay? There's some minimums that need to be met on this. There's a 1,000-word minimum. Which is decreased. It used to be 1,500, and at one point it was 2,000, but we decreased that. Essentially, you're going to pick out a health topic. It can be anything health or fitness related. It's very good if you pick something that's trending or hot topic because you're going to find tons of information. Things like diabetes, breast cancer, strength training, yoga, things like that are just topics that will always be there, and they have a lot of information about that. There might be some more specific topics that maybe pertain to your health, or maybe a disease. There might be an autoimmune disease that runs in your family that you want to research. You might have to dig a little bit more for, okay? You're going to get a professional article, and then you're going to get kind of just an everyday article, maybe from a newspaper, online, a magazine. Professional tends to be more of a like an educational institute type of article, okay, whereas the other one might be just from a different magazine article. Doesn't mean that it's not facts, okay, and we need to be careful when you're researching that you're not finding something that's trying to sell a product, okay. We just want straight information, okay. Please make sure you're meeting the minimum. I will say the number one issue with that assignment, and probably in this class, is the 1,000 words is not met, okay. You cannot get full credit for this assignment, regardless of how good it is, if you have 790 words. You cannot get full credit if you have 999 words. Okay, please check that. Can you go over? By any means, sure. Go ahead. Okay, most well-written things are usually around 1,500 or so, I've noticed, because they need to dive into the topic. The reason why we have a word count minimum is we need to have enough information. If we have 500 words, we're not going to have much information in there, okay? So please meet that minimum, or essentially it'll be prorated by how many words you met. So for example, if you got 60% of the words, the max credit you're going to get is probably 60%, okay? If you have questions on the topic, like you want to know, is this a good topic? Feel free to send it through a course message to me, and I'll tell you, yes, a great topic, no, not a good idea. And again, start on this a little bit early to make sure you get enough information. Okay, that is section 4. I'll see you in section 5.